Yo, welcome back. A very, very special episode of Man to Man Pod. Actually, the Man to Woman Pod today. Yours truly, one half of the Man to Man Pod, Darius Butler. I got my co-host, Antoine Bethea in the building.
What's good?
And we have a very, very special guest, the great Renee Montgomery, another UConn alum, a champion, WNBA champion. She obviously on the front lines for the culture right now, man. Very, very happy to have you. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I just got to ask, have you told people about how we used to whoop y'all in college?
Oh, man.
I'm just curious if that came up. That's all I wanted to know.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's all D-Bucks talk about is y'all off season. We used to play with the girls.
We really did.
And my take on it, I know they was giving you work.
And what have I said? What has been my honest answer?
You said there's been some good competition.
But Darius is actually good at basketball. Like, there's a lot of football players that they just play football on the basketball court, meaning like they just run through everybody. They go to the rim and just try to attack it. He actually has some skills and he's athletic. I don't know if people know, but yeah, that was good times. I
appreciate that. Yeah, you came up on the pod, I think 2 or 3 times. We had Rudy on. We spoke about you guys. We had Ty on. Obviously, we spoke about you guys. So yeah. So we always gave y'all respect. Y'all used to whoop up on us. We got y'all sometimes, but But yeah, so finding basketball, man. How did you fall in love with basketball? I saw you play soccer and basketball early in your career in high school. How did you fall in love with basketball?
Honestly, just not being very good at it. When I was younger, I started out and I wasn't playing much. I was on an AAU team and I was sitting the bench and I didn't like it. And so I started to just get a work ethic from that. And I was like, all right, I want to at least make sure I get in the game because there was times where I didn't know if I was going to get in. And so then it went from I want to make sure I get in the games to, all right, I want to be the person playing at the end of the game and starting the game. And it just kind of developed from there. And I kind of just fell in love with like being good at basketball. Like it was never really about me like being the best player, even though I always wanted to be that. But I just wanted to be like the best player for my team. So yeah, I just kind of fell in love with the process of, oh, wow, I'm getting better. I'm getting more minutes. Oh, wow, I'm making shots now. And it just kept going.
Did any of your siblings play the sport, or was you like the first one to really like jumped it off?
Nah, my older sisters, that's why I started playing. My older sisters, they both played basketball, but my oldest sister, Nicole, she was like a track star, broke every record in West Virginia, high jump, hurdles, long jump. And then my middle sister, Nishay, she actually was a cheerleader in college. So super athletic. They just chose different avenues.
Wow. Got you. Yeah, so they set the bar. So that would kind of go right into my question. A friend of mine, Coach Keita, he just took his first year high school girls coach, high school at a level down up in Naples. And he said, I asked Renee, what advice you would give her younger self, trying to chase that dream, especially for you. Because I feel like for you, you were born in what, 90? Oh, no, you were born the same year, 86. 86, my fault. My bad. But the WNBA started in the 90s, right? 91?
Yeah, the WNBA is 10 years younger than me, so.
Okay, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So just give advice to your younger self, I guess, when it comes to chasing that dream and playing basketball at the highest level.
Man, I feel like I shouldn't give the kids these days this advice because we was different. But I was way too hard on myself. Like, I was, like, about that grind life in a sense of I felt like, those shirts that we used to have, like eat, sleep, breathe, basketball, all those little AAU shirts we all used to wear. I was really about that life. Like I was really one of the kids that was dribbling around everywhere. And so I feel like I need to give kids now the opposite advice because like I know social media is a thing, but a lot of kids think that if they go to practice and they do good work at practice, that like that's good. Man, practice was like the easiest part of my workouts. Honestly, like I was doing like work when I was younger. So the advice that I would give to my younger self would be like, chill out, enjoy it more. I was all about the process and like, I'm not good enough. Like every time, even if I would have a good game, I'd be like, nah, not good enough. And I would be working out and I would be going crazy in my own mind trying to get better. So I would tell my younger self to just enjoy it. A bad game is not the end of the world.
Oh, it's great advice.
Great advice. Yeah.
Great advice. So, going into your I know you want to talk about making that college decision. Obviously, you were dominant in high school. You had some. I'm sure you had everybody at your neck. So what was that process like? How you found your way to UConn?
Yeah. I had pretty much an offer from every school in the country. It was different because again, now that y'all know how I was, like I wanted to make it a point that I did have an offer from everyone. So I was working for like I need everybody to want me and let me choose from there. What really happened was though, both of y'all, I'm sure the recruitment process, you understand that coach is going to tell you exactly what you want to hear to get you to their school. They're going to tell you that you're the star and that they want you and that all the plans that they see for you when you're there. Coach Ariema came to West Virginia. He was not talking like that. He was telling me how good UConn is and the people that came before me and that there's already a point guard there right now. And look,
probably Keisha.
Keisha Swan.
Yeah, came in my class.
He shot it to me straight like, Keisha's already here. So I don't pick favorites. So the best man will win the job, but we not rolling out the red carpet for no one. And I'm like, wow, okay. So this is different. Everybody else was telling me, oh, you're a McDonald's All-American and you're this and you're that. And they were just like selling me the world. And he came in there and just did not do that. But for a worker like me, that was the most welcome pitch ever. Cause I'm like, all right, I know what to expect then. Like, I know that he means that. And I know that like, he's going to shoot it to me straight. And I'm one of those players that I like that. Like, you don't got to sugarcoat it for me. Just tell me.
And I remember you coming in because I came in the same class with Keisha Mill and that Sade, that whole class. Yeah. And I remember you coming in the following year. And like I said, we spent a lot of time with the women's basketball team. So just seeing you come in, it was no hesitation for you. It was like, okay, like off the rip, you knew like, okay, she belonged. And even if everybody don't know it yet or everybody don't feel it, she already know. Like that was one of our patented moves was Renee coming down the court. She pulling up for a pop jumper before Jeff was doing it. So that gotta respect that for the jump. I know you had a question, AB.
Yeah, it's twofold because I probably got a good idea what the answer gonna be to the first question, but then I'm a rebound. So reading, your parents and I think your siblings went to West Virginia State, HBCU. Yep. So coming out, obviously, like you said, you had offers from everybody. Did it ever cross your mind to attend an HBCU at that time?
It actually did. And what's crazy is my dad, so he played football in college. He played at State. And he actually had offers from bigger D1 schools, but the schooling that he had in Ohio, he didn't feel like he was prepared. He thought that he would probably end up flunking out, get left behind. So he actually ended up going to an HBCU because he felt like that was going to give him the attention that he needed, not just even sports-wise, but academically. So not just athletically, but academically. So he actually made his decision, and no knock on the HBCU. He went there because he knew that they would nurture a young Black man. Right. And so when you come and look at it for me making my decision, all of my family went to HBCU and they all supported me going to UConn because they thought I would be most prepared to excel there. And so for my family, that's kind of what it was about. Like, what's the best fit for me? Mm-hmm. Where can I do the best? Like, what was I working towards? But yeah, definitely that HBCU experience. Like, I'm still sick. I missed it. I'm trying to like go around it. Like we didn't really have Greek life at UConn. I wanted to pledge AKA, like my whole family's AKA. So like choosing UConn did come with some consequences.
Sacrifices,
yeah. Like I had to make some sacrifices because I grew up being a part of that culture and a part of that Greek life. Like, step shows and everything, like the football games, the band, like I grew up on that just because my whole family, the reunions every year. And so when I went to UConn, it was different.
It's a culture shock. We definitely spoke about that. Me going to PWI, UConn, Antoine going to Howard. So obviously we speak on our differences of experience and I feel the same way, like, damn, I missed out. And I never even got recruited by HBCU school, but if I would at least took a visit, it would have been something to think about. But
that's
fact. They took me up to Howard for homecoming. I might have been gone.
Yeah, it was gonna be a wrap. Promise you that. But look, but fast forward to now, right? And obviously, everything that's going on in this nation, in this country, and things of that nature. You see that it's a lot more, high school athletes choosing that path or whatever. So if Renee was coming out of school now, like do you think that choice would be different?
It depends. I think so. The reason I made my choice wasn't even necessarily the school in a sense of the coach. And so I think Howard would have told me the same thing that the other colleges told me. I think that any HBCU would have like told me that they had so many big plans for me. I'm going to start. And that's not what sold me on the other schools. You know, when you're talking about top 10, top 5 schools, there's not much difference as far as facilities and anything like that. The only difference is the coaching and the system and the players that you're going to be playing with. So for me, that's what I chose UConn for. You know, it wasn't the campus. It's not stores. We didn't have now they built a new facility, but we didn't even have the most state-of-the-art facility when I was there. We didn't. And I chose it because, like I said, Coach Ariema came in there and told me like it was. And for someone like me who I like real transparency, that was everything to me. So I signed right away. I didn't even go on my official visits. Like right when he said that, I'm like, I'm like, that's who I want to play for, because I know that right now, if he can shoot it to me straight right now when he don't even have me, like he knows how sought after I was. Yeah, that's where I need to be.
No, I respect that.
Got to. Now you won I think three high school championships.
Yeah.
So 3 high school championships. You won a championship in college, and then you went and won 2 in the WNBA so far. So you know probably more than anybody else we've had on this pod, about championship culture. So what do you think is the biggest difference between the championship culture and, I guess not?
The first thing is work ethic. I think a lot of people think they know how to work hard, but you're not working nearly as hard as like another group, just because you might not even know. Like I know players that when we're halfway through practice, people are like, "Oh, this is a hard practice," and I'm thinking, man, I came from a Minnesota or somewhere, Minnesota Lynx, where we won our championships, and I'm like, this is actually an easy practice. Like but it's just, if you've never done it before, you don't know what it looks like. Kind of in a sense where a LeBron James, everybody was really confused why did he have to leave Cleveland and go to Miami to figure out how to win a championship? That's a real thing. You need to see what it looks like, especially as an athlete, because if you only go by what your coach tells you to do and what you've only seen before, well, if you've never seen a championship, you're going to keep not seeing a championship. So I would just say that work ethic and unselfishness. I think that if you look on every championship team, there's like some big unselfish moments by either the superstar or even the big 3, where you see a Steve Kerr in a Chicago's championship be a hero in a game. And we even saw in The Last Dance, they highlighted those unselfish moments because those are the ones that typically make or break a championship run.
Yeah, MJ had to change his style of play too.
Yeah.
To mold around the other guys. So that makes it all the difference in the world. And being with Gino, like, what do you think sets him apart? I mean, I know you talked about the culture and the team, but him as a leader, because you've had a bunch of coaches throughout your life, and I'm not sure who was he the best coach, and if it was him or whoever her was, who was the best one and why?
Listen, I mean, I'm sipping the Kool-Aid when it comes to UConn. So y'all not about to. That's gonna always be my choice, because like UConn made me in a sense. I came from West Virginia, and even though I was a McDonald's All-American and I had played on the USA basketball teams, people don't really care. Like, I'm from West Virginia, so people wasn't really respecting it like that, even in a sense of when I got McDonald's All-American. Like, it was like, well, who is she playing?
Who's she playing out there? Yep.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I had to literally come to UConn and prove myself to the world in a sense. And so I would say Coach Ariema, I mean, you got to think of the teams he's had too, because a lot of times we've seen teams on paper be amazing, right? And they're amazing, but they underachieve every year. Yep. I mean, even look at a Philadelphia 76ers where it's like, on paper, it's like, dang, they can
no question.
So good. Like, but they just can't figure it out. That's coaching figuring it out. And it's on the players too, but Coach Ariema is
last year, man.
Master. Yeah, he's like a master of massaging egos, and not even massaging them, like pushing your buttons to make you turn up at this time and make you turn up. It's just, he does it. He did it before my years. He's done it after my years. And so it doesn't matter what type of player. I'm from West Virginia. He had California players, New York players, and he knew how to communicate with every single player a certain way to get something out of them. So yeah, I think for that reason, it's not even the X's and O's. It's the how he controls his team and manages his team that I would definitely say he's the best coach I played for in doing that. But I've been fortunate. I played for some great coaches, Coach Cheryl Reeve, Coach Tebow. Even in high school, I had good coaches. So that's probably half the reason that I have the fundamentals I have now.
Yeah, Coach Gino, he got to be top 5 for sure.
I mean, across sports in general, he got to be in the argument for greatest all time. Period. In my opinion,
no question.
Yeah, that's easy for me. That's an easy decision. Crazy. But you got some maybe I saw you about to
yeah, for sure. So I kind of want to transfer over, right? So I know me and D-Buck kind of talked about it and your decision to opt out and not play the 2020 season. Like, D-Buck, I know he's won Man of the Year. I've won it. So, great athletes. We do a lot on the field, on the court, but it speaks volume about a man or a woman about what they're doing off the field or off the court. All right, what was your main decision on opting out and not playing?
Yeah, I just wanted to have an impact, and even when I opted out in June, it's crazy, it's December right now, but when I opted out in June, it was just like there's a lot going on. Like, when the pandemic made everyone sit down. So for me personally, I was taking a flight twice a week. I'm super busy. I'm calling games for ESPN, calling games for the Skyhawks. So I'm on the go. But the pandemic made me like chill out for a second and just sit down and have a look. And when I was looking, not that I didn't know it before, but just as we know, the string of murders was live on television, live on the news. Yeah. We see George Floyd, we see Breonna Taylor. I'm here in Georgia, so we watch people basically stalk and kill Ahmaud Arbery. Like, that's wild. And so I'm like, what is really going on? Like that, like I already knew it was bad, but just seeing it like that, I was like, nah, something like I need to do something, and I wanted to do something. I didn't know what it was. And so I'm like, you know what? I need to focus on what that something is going to look like. And I called my coach. I told my parents, and they told me to pray on it, give it a couple weeks. And then I called my coach after that couple of weeks, called my agent, anybody it would affect. And I basically let everybody know how I was feeling. And then I just opted out.
Man, super salute to you, man. I feel like the women, especially specifically in the WNBA, y'all kind of been on the front lines of this fight, way back as far as it goes. You know what I mean? So salute to y'all, salute to you, especially Maya. Maya set out. She had to do so.
Another Husky.
Another Husky, man. Y'all been holding it down, man. Making us proud, man. Making us proud. For sure. And it's so many of y'all in the game, and in the WNBA game. Fabrice Stewart, Maya, Tina Charles, just all up and down every roster, every draft. So how was that transition? Like, now you go from UConn, and I feel like in the women's game in college, like once y'all go to the pros, like y'all seeing a bunch of each other again. Like, it's the top dogs. How was that transition to the league?
It was actually really good, and you kind of hit on it for me. It wasn't as scary going to the WNBA knowing that, well, some of my friends are already there. It was kind of like, all right, I watched it too. And I think a lot of young kids don't watch the WNBA, which I think is like mind blowing. Boy, I was studying the WNBA, like, because that's where I was about to be in my mind. So I was watching the players. I was watching the ones I knew, the ones I didn't know. And so when I got there, I felt like I knew a lot of the players before I even did. I mean, a lot of players could even contest this. I would talk to people like I'm friendly.
Yeah.
So I would talk to people like I knew them, but I forget that they didn't know me like that. So I just came in and I would just like show them respect though. To me, like I was like, yo, you killed it last year in the semifinal. Like just talking to people.
Yeah.
And I think that made me more comfortable because I knew the game and I knew what the WNBA looked like. And then not to mention, I played on teams where I played with Maya, I played with Tina Charles, I played with Birdie. I played with a lot. I played with Kalena Green, Asia Jones. I played with a lot of UConn players, basically, because there's a lot of us in the league.
Yeah,
and
all
so
over.
yeah, so it was kind of like, shoot, at the Connecticut Sun, it was like UConn on steroids in the sense of we just didn't have school. Now it was just our job. We had like 4 UConn players on the squad. It was lit, to say the least.
Yeah, for sure.
I got a question for you. It's always been crazy to me when you watch the WNBA after y'all season is over. You see some of y'all top players going overseas and doubling up. Like what is that about? That's always been wild to me.
Doubling up. There's players, man, like quadrupling up overseas. Overseas is where, overseas is what paid for my house. If we're being honest, overseas paid for me to gift my parents a Mercedes. Like overseas paid for that. And the reason I say that is because overseas you make more than you make in the WNBA, a lot more. But also you don't get taxed the same in a sense of the overseas people pay the taxes. So there's just like most of the money is actually going to you. And so, man, I remember, I'll never forget, I was grinding in Russia for a house down payment. Like I was making stacks a month and I'm like, all right, by this month I can pay for a down payment on my house. And I just remember that grind, but that's why I wouldn't change it, because the lifestyle that I'm living right now, obviously the WNBA had a part of that too. But overseas money really paid for a lot of the things that I'm enjoying now.
And it's definitely a grind. But I'm sure that experience.
I don't know if people know, but I was like, that house that I was so excited to get, like I got it probably 10 years ago. But at the time I was probably in my house 2 weeks out of the year, and that's like if it was a good year. That's like if it was an amazing year and I had 2 weeks at my own house.
That's crazy.
I was at my WNBA team location, or I was overseas. So yeah, it's a grind. Like that's what I'll say. It's a grind for real.
I know. Just forget physically. I know mentally, it was rough.
That's taxing. Yeah.
Because you got to remember, we won a championship with the Minnesota Lynx, and 8 days later, I had to report in France. So it was like I had to decide: do I want to go to the championship parade, or do I want to just go home and get a couple days to myself? I ended up doing the parade, going to the governor's mansion, and all of that. So then I only had 3 days like to myself before I went overseas to France. So yeah, it's just tough because you come off of a whole season and just mentally where you're grinding for a championship, and then you just got to start back over in like a week and just start from training camp, square one, and that's the hardest part to me.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, hey, that's crazy. I know that got to be a good and bad though, because that's you also traveling, you seeing different parts of the world, different cultures, different languages and stuff. But it's a grind, like you said, man. But how do we make it to where our best talent, because like I respect the women's game probably more than anybody, because I done been up and close and personal, getting posted up, getting beaten, transitioned by it. So it's different for me. And I just feel like, being a former professional athlete, how do we be able to make it to where y'all make enough money to where y'all can just play here and then have a real off season like, everybody else? Like, and I know it's hard to say that, because the eyes come with the money follows and all that. So how is that? Do you have any answers? Ben, you're on both sides now. Played, now you're in the media. So what you got any solutions for that?
It's funny because a lot of people, the argument was at first that people just don't want to see women's basketball. And so it seemed like the media followed that myth, and I'm going to call it a myth because this year was one of the first years where the WNBA was on full display. The WNBA is on full display because of their stance that we were taking when it came to social causes. But in that same time, Twitter put some more games on. They started picking up more games by other networks. And then you started looking around and there was WNBA games on all kinds of different networks, on all kinds of different social platforms. They were streaming the games, like the games were accessible. And then all of a sudden you see big promo, big people coming in, Glossier, a big beauty company came in and became a sponsor. Mountain Dew came in to become a sponsor. So it's kind of like that, which comes first, the chicken or the egg, but in a sense of once people actually started letting the WNBA be accessible, because at a certain point, you can only just go on to, the app to watch a lot of the games.
Yeah.
People don't like watching sports on an app. Like people don't want to watch. People want to turn on your TV and watch a game, just like you watch every other game. So once that started to become a thing, product like sponsorship started to become a thing. So I think the more that you see, if you see a WNBA game on TV, it obviously helps to watch it. That'll give it views. But also, more than anything, if you see a company or a sponsor that's betting on the WNBA, betting on women in general, you should support that company too. Because that's what companies, that's why the companies go and get an NBA superstar or NFL superstar, because they think being aligned with that brand will make people support them. So in the same breath, if you see a company doing something, support it.
Yeah, and I feel like the men have done a better job too of openly supporting it, talking about it. You know, the leagues, they've been doing a good job. Now, I do have a question. I've had this conversation privately with a bunch of people. It's probably my first time publicly having it or asking a professional player this question. What's your thoughts on, because my idea is, okay, viewership may not be as high as it can be because maybe some guys don't want to watch things that they, in their mind, think that they can do, right? Now, you go and watch LeBron and whoever dunking and doing all this, they know they can't do that. So have you guys have conversations, or what's the thought behind lowering the rim to, I guess, make it more exciting? Let's say 9.5 feet to make it more exciting for fans to watch. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's not a good idea. For so many reasons. One, because the product is already good. You know, like usually you change something if the product needs to be corrected. If you see that there's a problem, the problem is with the people that think that they can play better than WNBA players. The WNBA players is not the problem. So to change our rims or to change anything that we're doing the right thing. You know, we're bringing a good grade of basketball, entertaining. A lot of the people that don't watch WNBA, they never watch WNBA. So they're saying things off of what they imagine a woman playing basketball would look like. And that's why some men, especially when they watch the WNBA and they see like a woman blocking it, pinning it on the backboard, they're like, whoa, what? And I'm like, players been doing that. Like
for a minute.
That ain't nothing new to us, but they already had this idea of what they thought the women's basketball game was going to look like. So they didn't even fool with it off top. And then when they actually watch it, it's a whole different product. So I would say let's change the guys watching it as opposed to change the rim. Change the rim.
Yeah, what was your take on that, D-Buck?
Yeah,
hey, this gonna be, you know what? Because I know Renee's a busy woman. She gonna have to get out of here.
I got time.
Hey,
this whole episode work. Cause I'm playing the devil's advocate here.
Cause D-Buck, you be having some crazy ass takes, bro. So
this ain't crazy though. This ain't crazy though for me, because I always try to look at things objectively as possible, right? From the player standpoint and from the business standpoint, right? So I know why NFL don't have guaranteed contracts, for instance. It's a violent game. Everybody will get hurt. I'm not giving y'all guaranteed contracts. That don't make sense from a business standpoint. From the women's game, in my opinion, I feel like dunks are exciting. You know what I mean? I feel like skill set wise, the women play better basketball than the men do skill set wise. But that's just like writing an article. You can write the best article in the world, but the one that's going to get more clicks is the one that has a clickbait headline. That's just the world we live in. So from a business standpoint, I want to be more entertaining to not only get the hardcore basketball fan, but I want the casual fans that maybe a game is on TV and I just watch it just because I might see somebody do something that I know I can't do, right? That's a sports fan.
Yeah,
sports fans think they can get out there and play quarterback.
Devil's advocate to your devil's advocate.
Okay.
The casual fans that you think might enjoy the dunking, they're not going to watch anyway. So why would you change what you're going to do?
Wouldn't they?
Because they don't even know that players are pinning shots on backboards. Even though there's highlights there, even though we say it, they're like, nah, I ain't watching that. It's gonna be the same. There's high school players dunking women. There's high school student athletes dunking. There's college student athletes dunking. There's been WNBA.
I know, but okay, we know the difference between.
I know they're not.
I'm not talking about rim grazers. I'm talking about
So, D-Buck, you saying the casual basketball fan, the casual basketball fan that's watching,
yeah,
and if they lower the rim, the casual fan can see 5 or 10 women dunking.
Throw it down hard, like
not. Yeah, it's just an extra. It's the most exciting aspect of basketball when it comes to branding. When it comes to the shoot,
that could be up for debate. The 3-point.
You got to bet. No, I wouldn't say the 3-point shot is as exciting as dunking.
Are you kidding me? When these players are the highlights, all right, you might have to run. The highlights that are getting played the most when Steph Curry was healthy was his three from deep. It was the three. You see Damian Lillard. Hello there.
Now you pulling up from the logo in clutch situations, that's different. But if you dunking on somebody, that's gonna be number one on SportsCenter. The dunk contest is always gonna get more views than the 3-point contest.
I agree. But to your point, why would I, as like, let's even just say I'm a company, right?
I'm saying that's what I'm saying from the business standpoint. Let's not even think about as players.
If I'm a company, why would I change our formula to go get fans that just want to come and hate anyway? Like, and the reason I say that is because, like,
you think they'll hate?
They already hating by not watching because it's not a dunk. Like, I know plenty of people who their favorite athlete is not a dunker. Like, he doesn't dunk in the game very often. Like, there's plenty of athletes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree with that.
But it could be that same casual fan's favorite player. But if we're trying to appeal to them, and I'm a WNBA player, and I'm trying to appeal to that same casual fan, your favorite player don't even dunk every day.
This is why you do it. This is why you do it. Who is the most marketable athlete ever?
For the WNBA?
We probably all got his shoes. Michael Jordan, right?
Oh.
Michael Jordan wasn't most revered worldwide for his skill set, for his fadeaway, his turnaround, his finishing. He was most known for being Air Jordan, for dunking, putting his tongue out, the crazy finishes. Like, so that's what I'm saying. As far as money wise, like, to me, it would make sense. It's just like the NFL game. Like, it's a violent game. We know what we sign up for. We sign up for full speed contact. But every year, the rules are changed and skewed for the offense to score more points. You can't quarterback a certain way. So we know, and even football fans know, it's not the football I grew up with. I hate it. Every year as it goes on, it gets softer and softer. But the money knows they want to see points, fantasy points, scores, passing yards, touchdowns. So it's like, from the business standpoint, I look at it from a completely different lens than the purity of the sport.
I see what you're saying, but I just think like the WNBA already has an identity. And so you want the WNBA to be the NBA for women.
No.
I mean, the only difference is that we don't dunk. We're all
I know, but
she got a good point right there, though.
But you don't think that's a big difference? That's the most marketable difference, though.
No, but that's the only difference. But that's still our identity, and even still, women are dunking. But that's the problem with the social media. You're like the Instagram crew that's like, TikTok is good. Let's have reels. Nah, dude.
Yeah, please. You got involved. This is the thing too. The average.
You see, if you notice, a lot of users have a lot of bad things to say about Instagram. As a company, you might be doing well at a certain point, but those type of things, like, I still go to TikTok for the real type stuff. Like, for me personally, if I want to do that kind of stuff, I'm not into it, but that's where I would go. You're the type that, like, let's just take everything everyone else is doing and be like them. I'm the type that,
it's a copycat league.
Boy, D-Butt, you hell, boy.
I'm saying we all had a problem with Instagram when they started the stories. Man, y'all stole some Snapchat, man.
But see, I don't think
now everybody using it. It's evolution, and if you look at
key, I get that, but then you don't need to lose yourself in the evolution. So
I agree with that. You feel like you were losing yourself?
No, the WNBA is evolving in the time span that it should. We got players dunking now. 10 years ago, we might have had one player dunking and very softly. There's players dunking now. That's the evolution of the WNBA, but it happened in the right time frame. Like, it didn't. If we in the first 5 years was like, all right, let's lower the rims to 9.5 so we can dunk and entertain people, I don't know if we would have the product that we have today.
It might be a bigger product. You never know. This is the thing.
D-Butt want to see windmills. D-Butt want to see 360s and all that.
This the thing, bro. I'm listening. The average NBA player is 6'7", right? The average WNBA player is, I want to say, 6 foot or around that.
I would say
okay, so that's a 7-inch difference. Yeah. So that don't make sense to play on the same size rim, on the same height rim. But that don't make sense.
But when you've been doing it,
why not? Like, it's like if we could
doing it your whole life, though.
Rim, I could be like, all right, you know what? We're all struggling to get it there. It's too high. Like, for kids in the bitty ball league, they lower the rims. Why? They're not strong enough to get the ball there. We are. They don't lower the rim so that the bitty ball players can dunk on them. Just so you know, D. But you might want the little bitty ball players to be dunking.
I was a bitty ball player dunking, and it was illegal. But I was dunking
the rim so that you can shoot accurately. we shoot accurately on the rims. The rims there's no problem.
I agree. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I agree. So,
we'll
revisit this.
Some people agree with you, so I understand that that's a real debate. I've seen it before, and I'm just like, man, like
I definitely understand both sides. I understand it from your standpoint. Like, look, I've been playing this game. I don't want you, and I don't want it to come off like I'm trying to like minimize the women's game or whatever. You know what I mean? That's not where I'm coming from at all.
And my feelings are easy. Like that didn't bother me none. Like that's
I mean, you know how I feel because, like I said, I played against y'all, but I just don't want the casual listener to think that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, you know, that's just what I'm saying. Money wise, I'll be thinking about the money. So I'm trying to get more money, but.
Then all kinds of women brands should have been supporting the WNBA long ago. That's what's crazy to me. Like brands that are only made, like if we're talking about money and products, us being women sells itself. We are women. There's so many things that we use that men don't use. That's a product. Fact. Like we don't need the Dunkin'. We are women. We come with body parts and makeup and everything that sells itself. So to me, I be thinking that people be focused on the wrong stuff. We already got the product. Sell it.
No, that's real.
I'm focused on that's a bar though. That's definitely a bar. But you know, on top of that product, you know, a little dunk, a little slap glass here. You know what I mean? But man. Hey.
Listen, he was a dunker. I'm gonna let y'all know too. In basketball, he had some bunnies, so that's probably why he's.
That's probably why.
Yeah.
That's probably why.
You know, like skill set people like Steph Curry. Steph Curry's people's favorite athlete. A lot of people. He ain't dunking like that either. So,
but when he does, it's a big deal.
But he doing it. He barely. He ain't doing no crazy.
But nah. We made our arguments, and trust me, I respect George more than anybody. But you know, tell us about your podcast. Because I know you just got in the podcast game. Tell us about the podcast. Where the people can check that out.
I started a podcast, and that's why before the camera started, I was asking y'all questions. But I started a podcast in the sense of. I realized I was doing a lot of talking on everybody else's platforms. And I'm like, man, like, there's a lot going on. And I do have opinions about a lot of this. So I wanted to create my own avenue of where I could sound off. And I wanted to create an avenue for my family because I feel like my family, super educated I don't know if people know, but my mom was, she went to the HBCU, West Virginia State. And then she taught at State for 30 years after she attended the school. So just my sister is a doctor. So we have like a family that I'm pretty much the only jock that just kind of went school only. Everybody else got masters and doctorates, and here I am. And I wanted a place where people could connect with me and know what I'm doing and connect with my family. My manager, Paul, is on there and basically navigate the new normal too. Like we're all doing everything remote. I have a lot of different friends come on the podcast and talk. Gonna have you on there, D Butt, for sure.
Can't wait.
Just like, I mean, we talk about everything, business, sports, entertainment, activism, politics, like whatever's happening, that's what we're talking about. And it's actually fun. I was like really stressed. I'm not going to lie. Like we started planning for it 6 months before we launched and I was stressed. Like, are people going to watch it? Are people going to like it? Is it going to be funny? You know what I mean? Like y'all know, cause y'all got one.
Know. Yeah.
And so then once I started actually filming it, it's fun. So I'm having fun with it. It's way more fun than when I was planning it. So now it's the fun time. Like we film every Friday, release every Tuesday, and now I'm having fun with it. So yeah, it's called Remotely Renee. We launch on everywhere you get your podcast, and it's also on YouTube. We got nice visuals. We got great editing guys. Shouts to the Heartland group. So yeah, we're up and running, and I'm not as stressed anymore about it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man.
Yeah, good luck with that for sure.
Absolutely. I can't wait to join you on there, man. Hey, appreciate you so much for coming on and joining us. I loved it. This was great,
and I need to just say something. This is really weird because like we're actually friends, but you had an unbelievable career, by the way, D. But like coming from UConn, where a lot of people didn't really respect UConn football in a sense of like the big powerhouse schools, you like went in there and I don't know, you played like 9, 10, 11 years.
Yeah, I got a 9-piece in there.
Yeah, you got a 9-piece nugget in the yeah, like that's a big deal coming from a school where people didn't necessarily think that was a school that produced that kind of talent. So shouts to you.
Hey, appreciate that, man. Appreciate that a lot, man. Hey, this definitely won't be the last time we have you on, and I can't wait to jump on Remotely Renee, man. Be blessed. Keep doing the things. Keep holding it down on the front lines for us. We appreciate you.
For sure. Man, that was a great episode, and we just want to thank Renee Montgomery again for stopping by the Man to Man Pod, dropping some gems. Definitely just talk about everything that she has going on. Obviously, dropping her podcast as well. So definitely go to subscribe, go check her out as well. So again, thank you, Renee.
Great interview.
Great interview. Shoot, D-Buck, you just kind of talked about this crazy stat.
Oh, yeah.
So coming in. Go ahead.
Oh, I thought you got it. Okay, yeah. So, coming off this past week, A-Rod broke another career milestone. Shout out to Aaron Rodgers and, catch him on Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays on the Pat McAfee show, too. But this is a crazy stat, and I know you said you saw it, and some people have already seen it, but I got to just say this shit on air. Of the 7 quarterbacks that throw 400 touchdowns in their career, and it's only 7, right? On that list, you got, obviously, Aaron Rodgers just on that list, but you got Tom Brady on that list. When he threw 400 TDs, he had 143 interceptions. When Drew Brees did it, he had 196 interceptions. Peyton Manning, 198. Phillip Rivers, 202. Dan Marino, 231. Brett Favre, 258. Gunslinger. And then you got Aaron Rodgers. He threw 400 and only 88 interceptions. Like literally, that's a quarter of what Brett Favre and not far from Marino been like that's crazy. So when you having that GOAT conversation for individual positions, and I'm a former teammate of Tom Brady, so I always say he the GOAT. He the GOAT. You a former teammate of Peyton. A lot of people got him as a GOAT or in the conversation.
For sure.
Aaron Rodgers got to get some serious consideration of being the greatest of all time. What's your thoughts?
That's GOAT status. That's GOAT status. There's no way you can go around that. No way you can argue that. Now, when people do argue, it's one argument.
Hold on, cuz. My fault.
Okay.
Hey,
lover boy. Lover boy. Lover boy. But for real, like that's GOAT status. But that one argument everybody always fall back on is how many Super Bowl rings he has. But again, my argument against that, this is the ultimate team sport. If you don't surround me with the pieces that I need, then hey, you can just go to show this past draft. They go and draft a damn quarterback. Like, you don't need a quarterback. You got one of the best to ever do it right now. You know what I'm saying?
It was a good draft move. I think it was a good draft move.
All right, that's cool. It is what it is. But that's GOAT status. 88, 44 touchdown passes, 88 interceptions. Man.
Yeah, 400 to 88. That's wow. So I agree with you. And as you know, as you said, and as everybody knows, it's the ultimate team accomplishment to win the Super Bowl. Even in basketball, people always talk about when they're comparing the greats. Oh, he didn't have this many championships, whatnot. But that's a team game. It's a team sport from the top down. Not even just the people in the locker room playing the game, but the organization, the general manager, the coach. Like all those things are incredibly important when it comes to winning the championship. So when you're comparing great players just as individuals, position by position, definitely unfair to hold a player back because of the Super Bowl accomplishments. Now Brady got 6, been to 9, played for 20 years, dominated for so long. So that's why he's kind of cemented in that spot, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But I mean, A-Rod got to get some serious consideration. You look at his passer rating over his career, you look at this ratio, it's wild, man. It's wild. We played against, matter of fact, on this list, I picked off A-Rod, so I'm one of them 88. Got his ass at Lambeau too.
Salute.
You got Brady what 4 or 5 times. Did you get him in the playoffs too?
Nah, I think all mine was
regular season.
Regular season.
Okay, Drew Brees. I didn't get him. Did you get him?
I got him.
Okay, you got Brees. I got Peyton. So that's the top 4 as far as ratio wise. I got 2 of them. You got 2 of them. Philly Riv. You got Phillip.
I got Phil.
Got Phillip. I think you took him to the crib. Matter of fact,
yeah. Pick 6.
Now, serious question: did you get Marino? Did you?
Fuck out of here.
And Favre and Brett Favre 7. Did you get Favre?
Nah, I didn't get Favre though. I didn't get him.
Oh shit! So I got boom. I got 2 of them. You got 1, 2, and you didn't get Peyton. So I got Peyton too. Okay, so you got 3. You got 3 of them. So you got 3-2 AB. But Man to man. So when we talk ball, listen, man. You know,
we
got
know what
opinion
we're
on the
talking
best
about.
of the best, man.
Yeah.
We know what the hell we talk about. But man, sticking with the quarterbacks though, before we get off, wrap this thing up, man. Obviously, big breaking news out of Philly. We've talked about it a lot all year, like every show probably has. Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts. It was almost a matter of, when, not if, in my opinion, at least. What's your thoughts on the move?
We talked about it earlier, man. We got to find a spark somewhere, and obviously, when Jalen Hurts entered the game this past game, gave him a little spark, and I just think this would be a perfect time for that team to see if something's going to happen. And again, as you see around the league, it's a lot of young quarterbacks that's playing fairly good ball. So Philly has a good young quarterback in Jalen Hurts. You're gonna put him in the game. He's gonna start, and we're gonna see what he can do. You say that you have Philly over the Saints this week.
Oh, you giving away my pick earlier. I was supposed to.
I think you're a damn fool. But we're gonna see. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna see Jalen Hurts.
But I hope the young boy, man, I hope he does well. It's his time to shine. Shit, I hope he, put him on their back and do what he do.
Yeah, man. I love his journey so far, and I wish the best for Carson going forward as well. I think he'll land on his feet, super talented. Things happen in this league. Everybody goes through their own journey. This is a down for him, but I definitely see him coming back up and getting another opportunity. But as far as Hurts go, I feel like he just always been kind of more mature in his years, always ready. Even when he got benched at Alabama, I feel like he took that, he took that to the chin. When he moved on to Oklahoma, did his thing, and it got drafted in the second round, which raised a lot of eyebrows. I thought once again it was a good draft pick. The best time to draft a quarterback is when you don't technically need one. Maybe that has some effect with Carson's psyche, but Hurts got in there to look good in his first showing out there quarterback, and now actually game planning and taking all the 1 reps and actually tailoring. And I'm sure they've already been working on his game plan for the last few weeks. Once we heard the news of him getting more first team reps, so I like it. I'm excited about it, man. I'm excited about Jalen Hurts going forward, man. I'm bullish. I'm bullish on Jalen Hurts. We'll see. Yeah, and yes, like AB said, I'm taking them to upset the Saints this week, but take that with a grain of salt. I took the damn Falcons to beat the Saints.
Hey, look. But what I'm telling you've been doing a lot with this betting. You know what I mean? You giving people, scares of the week or whatever. So as a friend, you know what I'm saying? As business partners, don't do that to yourself.
I was out there. It's up there. It's stuck there.
Don't do that. Hey, don't do that to yourself. You can always come back. You can always dig on that. Don't do that to yourself.
Hurts. Don't let me down, baby. Don't let me down, Hurts. Don't let me down, man. But yeah, this is, we'll see. What is 7-point? FanDuel Sportsbook has the Saints 7-point favorites right now. That's good. That's right where I want you, Vegas. That's right where I want your ass.
Man, Saints been booming right now, man.
I know they hot. They hot
right now.
I like the Eagles, but we talked about the Eagles before. I like their defense too. I just feel like they haven't had any support from the other phases. So maybe Jalen provides that spark.
He will provide a spark, but it ain't gonna be too much. But hey,
we'll see.
We'll see. Hey, another episode, man. Another episode of Man to Man Pod. Again, appreciate Renee Montgomery stopping by, UConn legend. Again, like we always say, subscribe, like, tell a friend, and tell a friend.
Yes, sir. What's your thoughts on the game tonight before we get out of here? We got some Tuesday night football. Ravens Cowboys. Ravens Cowboys.
I'm gonna go. Ravens is my pick. I think they got them at 8.5. So I'm gonna take the Cowboys to cover the spread, though.
Taking the Cowboys to cover it. Okay. I see that. Andy Dalton fairly familiar with the Ravens, so we'll see.
And again, you never know what type of defensive performance you're gonna get out of the Cowboys. Yeah. The Ravens offense kind of been struggling, so
I'm gonna take the Ravens, man. Lamar prime time. I feel like he got something to prove. He's been getting talked about crazy. Just saw his draft mate Josh Allen show off last night on prime time. I'm betting on Lamar. Cover the spread. I put my bet in at 7.5. It done moved to 8.5. So Vegas thinking with me too. I'm taking Lamar and the Ravens to cover and to win the game. Only way Dallas can win, I think, is if Zeke controls that clock and he runs like the old Zeke and protects that ball. But we'll see. And Andy Dalton obviously just can't trick it off. Yeah. We'll see. But they need this win though. Washington football team got a big win. Giants got a big win. Who has that? The Giants. I think the Giants had a tiebreaker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's still up in the air in the NFC East. So big game for the Cowboys. So we should get their best shot. But hopefully we see a good game, man.
We will.
Yep. But a great episode, man. Great episode. Hey, Tom, I got a question before we close out. Will we get cut off if I put this music on, this uncopyrighted music?
You got a few seconds. So you probably got like 5 seconds.
Hey, Siri, turn that song back on. We out, man. Hey, Siri, can you play that song? Hey. That's about 5.
It's a classic, though.
Fact. And we out there.
Go.